We start tonight with an accused killer finally facing justice after years on the run. A Mexican drug kingpin charged in the kidnapping, torture, and murder of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena is back in the U.S. and behind bars. Good evening, I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Chiquetto. The accused mastermind appeared before a federal judge in a U.S. courtroom today. Tonight, we're hearing from a San Diegan who is a board member of the Camarena Educational Foundation and retired DOJ special agent.
CBS 8's Elizabeth Sanchez has more on Rafael Caro Quintero's day in court and the impact on the Camarena family and law enforcement. Elizabeth?
Right, you guys. You know, DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena was tortured and murdered back in 1985. You may have seen the Netflix series Narcos that captured the violence. Well, to hear agents talk about Rafael Caro Quintero, they say he was as bad as the series portrayed him.
As DEA agents left the courtroom where Rafael Caro Quintero went before a U.S. judge, DEA agents called it an historic day.
We have waited 40 years for this day. This day when justice would be served.
Caro Quintero, the former leader of the Guadalajara cartel, spent 4 decades on the DEA and FBI's most wanted list for the kidnapping and murder of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena.
He was kidnapped, taken to a house in Guadalajara, where he was tortured for hours and finally killed him.
Stephen Duncan is a retired DOJ special agent who has worked with the DEA and is now on the board of the Camarena Educational Foundation based in San Diego County.
A good, hardworking DEA agent from Calexico, California, one of our own, was just doing his job.
In federal court, the handcuffs that had once belonged to Agent Camarena were placed on Caro Quintero's wrists. The drug kingpin's charges include distribution of cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and methamphetamine, along with drug trafficking activities and leading a violent cartel for decades.
He's going to talk, and he's going to tell us who he's corrupted over the years, both inside prison and outside prison, with the police, with the government, who they killed, who they've corrupted, who their sources are.
Duncan goes around the country talking about the dangers of drugs to kids during Red Ribbon Week that began as a tribute to Camarena. Sometimes Kiki's son, Enrique Jr., accompanies Duncan and shared this audio recording.
Mrs. Camarena, President Reagan.
Yes, thank you.
Your husband died for his country in every sense of the word, and we'll remember your husband for his love and his dedication to this country.
Kiki's widow asks if her son can say hello to President Reagan.
I just wanted to say hello.
Well, I'm glad you did. And Enrique, let me just say something to you about your father. Be proud all your life of him. He gave his life for all of us.
And the family gave Duncan permission to share that recording. The U.S. attorney said today, and I quote, "You can't kill a DEA agent and get away with it." Law enforcement officers also said these criminals will not have a flashy lifestyle here in America, and no power can protect them from the American criminal justice system.
You know, Elizabeth, Caro Quintero had never been extradited to the U.S. before now, but he had been arrested twice in Mexico, right?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yes. So yes, he was arrested back in Mexico in 2013. A judge let him out, and then for good behavior, and then he was arrested a second time in Mexico in 2022, and the U.S. has been wanting an extradition ever since.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, interest in this has spiked since
Right.
Narcos Mexico aired, and a lot of people very happy to see this development tonight. Elizabeth.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Elizabeth.